Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darshan Singh and I am the head of IELTS training at Target 9. I'm also the author of 5 best-selling books on IELTS that are selling on Amazon.com, Amazon.in in Canada, UK, US, Japan, everywhere. So you can check out my books in the description. You can learn more about them when you visit the Amazon site. So for now, I am making this video for those who really struggle in the agree or disagree essay questions. So there are many students who have messaged me and they have told me time and again that they face real issues when it comes to writing on an agree or a disagree essay. So there are a few things that you need to keep in mind if you want to write this essay in a right manner. So we are going to discuss those things in detail in this video. And before that, there is another confusion that most of the students have. So I just want to clear it out first. Like many students ask me, so what is the perfect limit when it comes to writing a letter or an essay, especially in the general training module? So I've always told them that, there's no perfect limit as such. But there is a guideline from the IDP as well as British Council that your minimum requirement of words is 250 for the essays. So minimum limit is given, but there is no mention about the maximum limit. So maximum, I think it should not exceed 300 because we generally attend the training sessions from the master trainers as well as experts from the UK, from British Council and the IDB. So we have already discussed these things on length with them and we have all come to a solution that the maximum word limit should not exceed 300. Although in case you have written 310 and the examiner thinks that you have not repeated things, you have not repeated the ideas, then it is fine. But if they feel that, if you're exceeding 260, let's say 270, and you are then again writing the same things that you have already mentioned, then there will be a deduction in marks. So when it comes to writing essays, you just keep this thing in mind that minimum you need to write 250 and maximum you can go up to 300 and not more than that in any case. So before the exam, you can easily practice this habit of not overflowing with the ideas, of not going beyond the word limit. Even if you practice, I think 15 to 20 tasks in a month, I think you'll surely have a control over this thing. And same thing goes with the letter writing. Minimum requirement is already given in the examination, which is 150 words, and maximum you can write up to 200 words. So in any case, you must not exceed more than 200 words in the letter writing. So I'll make a separate video for the format, for how many number of paragraphs you need to write in letter and essay. I'll make a separate video regarding that. But today's main topic is going to be essays with agree or disagree question. So the main confusion that students have is this: whether to write completely in favor of that statement or to completely disagree with that statement. And the third confusion that they have, whether to write a partial agree, right? So this is the main confusion that all of the students have, whether to completely agree or disagree or partial agree with the statement. So I'll come on to the next page and show you that there are two kind of questions. So there is a statement, there's always a statement at the start. And then there is a question: to what extent do you agree with this statement? So if you can clearly see this word, extent, to what extent do you agree with this statement? There is no disagree, there is no choosing of the option. They have only asked to what extent do you agree with this statement. So in this case, if you get this question after the statement, then choose one. Either you completely agree with the statement or you completely disagree with the statement, and then you also have the option of partially agreeing if this word is given. extent. If extent is not given, then partial agree will not be your option. So I'm going to repeat again. If this is the question after the statement, what extent do you agree with this statement? So extent gives you a cushion to whether choose agree or disagree, or you can partially agree. So extent gives you a bit of a cushion. You can write both sides of the coin. But when you have this question, do you agree or disagree, then there is no partial agree. If they straight away ask you, do you agree or disagree? If somebody comes to me and I ask him whether you'll have tea or coffee, so they have to choose one, right? Either tea or coffee. You cannot have both. Half cup tea and half cup coffee. It doesn't look nice, right? It doesn't make sense. So in this way as well, in this case as well, you will choose only one. You will either completely agree with this statement or you completely disagree. So I'm going to repeat it again quickly, that if you get this statement, to what extent do you agree with this statement, then you have all the options. You can either agree, completely agree, or you can completely disagree, or you can partially agree. Partially agree means that you can write both. You can agree with the topic and you can also write what you do not agree in the next paragraph, definitely in the separate paragraph. So when you get this question straight away, do you agree or disagree, then only choose one, only one. For an example, if your essay is smoking should be banned in public places, do you agree or disagree? So you cannot write partial agree in this question if you have this line in your exam, and if you partially agree, then the coherence of your essay will be destroyed. You won't be getting the expected band score. So if this is the line, to what extent do you agree or disagree, then you have the question. You can write agreement and then you can also give your disagreement with the topic or with the statement. So this is how you write. Now I have a couple of questions and I would also like to discuss it with you so that you can get more clarity about this thing. Now this is my statement. There are a couple of statements. The government investment in arts, music and theatre is a waste of money. The government should invest these funds in public services instead. To what extent do you agree with this statement? So they have given me this word, extent. So when they give this word extent, I will most probably choose this option, partially agreeing, because I'll have more ideas to write on. Now, when it comes to investing in arts, music and theatre, it is not a waste of money according to me. So I will start my second paragraph like this, that I feel that art, music and theatre are one of the most important aspects of any country because they can generate high revenue. They can generate high revenue through entertainment industry, through tourism, and by promoting them to foreigners. You can give an example of Russia, where they promote their arts, their culture, their music, their lavish theaters, and people from all over the world come there to see it. So they have preserved the culture and custom this way by investing money in arts, music and theatre, so that the coming generations can also see what their ancestors were doing in the past and what legacy they have left for them. Now coming back to the next part of the essay, which will be my third paragraph, it says that government should invest these funds in public services instead. So public services is like transport, health, education, cleanliness, infrastructure, the overall infrastructure of the city or the country. So definitely you cannot ignore these things. You've got to invest in art, music and theatre, but you cannot ignore public services because they are really crucial for the well-being of the citizens, like transport, health, education, cleanliness. And good services, will lead to a better lifestyle of the citizens. Living standard will also increase, it will also rise. So the cities or the countries can become self-sufficient, and there will be more employment, there will be more jobs when the government invest in the public services. So in the end, we will just sum up the topic. So in this case, we had two statements. The first said the government's investing money in art, music and theatre is a waste of money. Instead, they must spend more funds in public services. So you had two things to talk about, and you also had this option of to what extent do you agree or disagree. So whenever you get this option, I think the clever choice is to choose partial agree, so that you have more ideas to write on the both sides of the coin. So when you have both things to explain, you can easily write your topic, I think, and you will not fall short of any ideas when it comes to any sort of essay, because you are writing on both the sides. So even if you have a couple of good ideas for each side, I think that is it. You don't need more ideas than that. So this essay was discussing about both the sides. Now we'll turn on to the next essay, which is completely different. There is agree, there is disagree, but there is no extent. No extent. So that means you cannot partially agree with the statement. You have to either agree or disagree. So this is my statement. Big salary is much more important than job satisfaction. So either you will write I agree with the statement. If you agree with this statement, that means you are saying that money is more important than job satisfaction, and in order to prove that, you will write reasons behind that. So if you disagree with the statement, then you have to write that how do you think job satisfaction is more important than big salary. So this is how you write these sort of essays. You either agree or disagree. So even in your statement, you can write in the introduction or at the start of the second para that I completely disagree with this notion that more money is crucial to well-being than job satisfaction. And then obviously you need to give reasons to support your claim. If you haven't watched the previous video in which I had discussed how to use examples, why examples are important, you can first go and watch that video and then come back to this one. Then you'll have more understanding about the structure of the essay. So reasons, when it comes to the reasons, you write reasons to support your claim. Your claim was that I disagree. And to support your reasons, you need to give examples. So if you haven't watched that video already, I request you first go and watch that and then come back to this video. So then you can give a lot of reasons that job satisfaction gives you an ideal life, it gives you a sense of fulfillment, it gives you more time, right? An ideal job, because an ideal job or job satisfaction will give you more time, more peace of mind, and then you'll do your job with more responsibility. You'll enjoy your job, you'll be more happy, there won't be any constraints, you will be contented with your life, you will be contented with your job, whatever you're doing in life. And you will also be contented with your salary, because if you have job satisfaction and if you feel that you have done well and if you feel that you have achieved what you wanted to achieve, then definitely your salary satisfaction will always be there. Then you stay happy, you stay contented, you're always motivated to pursue more in life. Your career growth is better when there is job satisfaction, because at least if you're not paying more attention towards money, you're paying more attention towards your career, towards building your skills, towards your productivity, towards your responsibility, which in turn would help you become a better person. And not only a better person, but you will also start earning more, right? So if, I'll repeat it again, if you are working with more responsibility, ability, more dedication, and with more satisfaction as well, then your growth is right around the corner. You will definitely achieve success. You will definitely achieve more money. So if there is job satisfaction, the money will follow. You can also add this line: if there is job satisfaction and you're doing well in your job, the money will follow. Okay, so next one, then you can sum up the topic, and in the both paragraphs, paragraph number 2 and 3, the main body paragraphs, you will write the same thing. You will continue to disagree with this statement. You will continue to disagree with this statement in the whole essay. And at the end, you can sum up like this: that no doubt the money is crucial in life for the well-being of human beings and for the rainy days, but I still feel that job satisfaction is paramount in life. It is the most important thing in life, because if you're not satisfied in your life, you can never be happy. You can add this. And while finishing off the overall, or writing the introductions, I have already made this video on a separate channel, but in this channel as well, I'll be posting these videos soon, that how to write the effective introductions and overall of the essay. And I also request you to watch the previous video, which was regarding the way of making examples. There were also templates of the examples, and you can learn a lot about using examples in the essays from that video. So I'm just going to give you a few seconds to quickly take the screenshot of this page. You can pause the video and take a screenshot, and also of this page. Look, practice is the most important thing when it comes to writing IELTS essays, because until and unless you practice and get it checked from an expert, you won't be knowing your mistakes. Okay guys, so if you're facing any difficulty, you can write in the comment section. I'll try my best to solve your confusion, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe the channel, and share it with your friends and family. See you in the next video. Bye bye.